High school volleyball in Texas is some of the best in the country. And here in this little pocket of DFW reside some of the standard-bearing programs in the state. Tonight, in the inaugural volleyball broadcast ever on WFAA+, it's as elite as it gets, as number 1 Byron Nelson, the defending national champions, visit 11th-ranked Southlake Carroll on high school game night. And with that, we welcome you courtside here inside the gymnasium at Carroll Senior High School. Mike Leslie and the former LD Bell and Cornell Division I volleyball player Janelle Fort, a reporter at WFAA, but obviously also a spectacular volleyball player once upon a time. We are excited to have you here, and we are excited to be here tonight for the first ever volleyball broadcast here on WFAA+.
Absolutely. You know, we were talking about just how big high school volleyball is here in North Texas. I mean, we're seeing that tonight. I'm aging myself a little bit. 15 years ago, I was a high school athlete here in the DFW Metroplex, and it's just grown and grown, so it's phenomenal to see what it's becoming here.
We are seeing tonight two of the very, very best programs in the state, and we have to start talking about the visiting team, the Byron Nelson Bobcats, because this program is unbelievable how talented they are. They are the number 1 ranked team in the state. They are the defending national champions.
Yeah, they are on this incredible winning streak at this point. They've got a great coach. They've got the number 1 setter in the country at this point. So this is just a great team to watch. They've got a lot of chemistry, and you see that each time they step on that court. And you've seen it last season when they won that national championship, and you're seeing it carry over into this season as well.
They are about 6 minutes earlier than we thought they would be with the national anthem. She'll have to accept our apologies on the fact that we are talking through this. We thought that was going to come at about 5:28 tonight. Southlake Carroll, also a spectacular program in their own right. They have been terrific for years, and they probably would have won state at 6A Division II if Byron Nelson had gone D1 last year. They're that good, ranked number 11 in the state this year.
Yeah, and their coach said that when we were talking to them before the game. This is a phenomenal program. They've been phenomenal for a long time. They were phenomenal back when I was in high school. We see it in their season. They've got a great coach. They've got a lot of girls that play at a very high level. They have a lot of girls that are committed to play D1. And they really play cohesively together. I think they're 21-4 on the season this year. So that's a team to watch for.
Yeah. They played, as I mentioned, in the regional final a year ago in 6A Division II in the Region 1 final. These two programs are used to playing against one another, both in district as well as in the playoffs. They know each other well, and now Southlake Carroll's got them on their home floor. They've got a tall task tonight, but they are certainly game for the fight. Yeah,
and they know that this is going to be a tough matchup. They've said that. They're like, if anyone is going to take a set off of them, it's going to be Southlake Carroll. So I'm really excited for some good volleyball tonight.
Yeah.
They've talked about kind of the strategies on both sides with Southlake Carroll. You know, Byron Nelson has said they're looking for their middles.
Yes.
That is what they're worried about. On the flip side, Southlake Carroll has said when they're looking at Byron Nelson, they're looking at their pins. They know that Sophie is going to get the ball out to them, and, you know, they've got to be able to defend that, and they've got to be able to have a double block on both sides.
Let's get a look at Sophie Peterson, one of our players to watch for tonight, the junior for Byron Nelson, because she is unbelievably gifted. The number 1 volleyball player in America, regardless of position, in the junior class, on her way to Texas A&M. Janelle, she's unbelievable.
She's so unbelievable, and it's so funny because I was able to catch up with her parents before the match started. And it is so surprising because she started out as a gymnast.
Yeah.
She wanted to be the next Simone Biles. I mean, she's kind of tall, so she probably grew out of it. But her parents told me that during COVID, she made the switch to volleyball. In fact, her mom was a volleyball coach, and they were like, it's a great decision. Obviously, she's moved up the ranks as a setter. She's got a coach that played her position at a very high level, has won many awards, and has been able to learn so much from her and become just this really incredible player.
Yeah, Brienne Groth was an All-American setter at Oklahoma, also won a couple of state championships in Amarillo back in her high school days. She knows the setting position very well, and she was on no uncertain terms, very communicative, that Sophie Peterson is the real deal. She's crazy good. Meanwhile, for Southlake Carroll, Kinsley Young, their middle blocker. You mentioned the middles. That's going to be where Southlake Carroll makes their money tonight. Kinsley Young is really, really special.
She is super special. Again, talk to her parents as well. Their fun fact was that she is a gardener. She's got a garden out and back. So when she's not playing volleyball, they said she's very committed to volleyball, but when she's not playing volleyball, she's out in her garden, tending to her garden. But she's just a force. She's got a whip of an arm, and you see that every time she takes a swing. She's really high volleyball IQ. She can see the court well. She sees those open spots, and as long as the ball is in system, she's going to be a really big threat to that Byron Nelson team.
As you can see, as we come live to a picture of Kinsley Young here inside the arena, they've got a new light system here in the gymnasium at Carroll Senior High School, and that was even something that Brianne Groth talked with us about earlier this week. She said they had heard about this new lighting system and what a cool atmosphere it was going to be in here tonight. It looks very cool here so inside the gymnasium.
It wasn't like that when I played here. I'm actually glad it wasn't. It's a bit intimidating, I'm not going to lie.
Back when you and I were playing high school athletics, they didn't have this they hadn't developed this kind of technology back then. They've got some pretty cool stuff in here tonight, and it's going to be a really, really cool scene. We mentioned it earlier how hard it is to take a set off of Byron Nelson. It's only happened once all season. They lost one set back in the middle of August against a Sierra Canyon team out of California that's the number 2 team in the national rankings. That's the only team that's been able to take a set off of them this year. However, last year Carroll was able to do it in both of their regular season matches. So if anybody in Texas can do it, this Carroll team's got a pretty good shot tonight.
Yeah, and Byron Nelson has said that they don't expect to steamroll over Carroll. They expect this to be a fight tonight, and that is why this game is going to be so exciting. And again, these girls, a lot of these girls, they play club volleyball together. They know each other's habits. They kind of know what to look for. It's a friendly competition because once the high school season is over, these girls will be on the same side of the court.
Yeah.
But here tonight, they're on opposing teams, and they're very much so wanting those bragging rights.
There you see number 4 in the green jersey, the libero tonight for Southlake Carroll, Collins Alonso, only a freshman. She is a special talent in her own right that we will be talking about through the course of the evening as the Southlake Carroll Dragons are introduced here inside the gymnasium. They have a big crowd on hand. They are expecting a lot of the football program in-house. In fact, they are in the front row on the right side, kind of right in front of where the Byron Nelson bench will be here, at least in this first set. So that will add perhaps a little intimidation factor for the Bobcats to deal with. This is going to be a fun vibe in here tonight for sure for 2 of the very best volleyball programs in the state.
Yeah, and right behind the football team, you've got the middle schoolers because it's middle school night here. So packed crowd on the Southlake Carroll side tonight as they take on this very phenomenal, very good Byron Nelson team.
Leslie Jackson there in your frame a moment ago, the head coach of the Southlake Carroll Dragons in her 3rd season as Carroll's head coach. Came over from Denton Guyer, also spent a year at McKinney, was an assistant for Prosper when they won a state title back in 2017.
And fun fact here, Leslie and I played club together.
Yes.
She was a year older than I am, but when you're in those club gyms, you're standing next to each other. You're playing on courts next to one another. So I would look over, and I would see Leslie pounding balls.
It's going to be fun in here tonight. This is going to be a very, very cool scene. Please let us know in the YouTube comments where you're watching from tonight. If you've got a favorite player on either one of these 2 teams, as we are just about ready to fire things up. There you see Brianne Groth, the head coach of the Byron Nelson Bobcats in her 8th season as Byron Nelson's head coach. A former superstar at Amarillo, was the Gatorade Player of the Year her senior year, and a 2-time All-American at Oklahoma. Was an assistant at Lovejoy for a little while, then a head coach at Colleyville Heritage before taking the job here at Byron in 2018. Clay Marshall, let's get a look at our starting lineups for tonight between Byron Nelson and Southlake Carroll. For Byron Nelson, Kylie Kleckner, the outside hitter, on her way to Washington. Sophie Peterson there at the bottom, the setter we mentioned before, on her way to Texas A&M, the #1 player in the country in the junior class. For Southlake Carroll, Kinsley Young, the middle blocker there, number 14, as well as Layla Austin, the outside hitter, number 7, on her way to San Diego State. That is the power nexus for Southlake Carroll. That is where they're going to be able to do their damage tonight, if anywhere, is going to be with Austin and Kinsley Young. Our officials tonight, the up official, Ladine Thomas, the down referee, Beth Willis, the R2, and our line judges, Kenneth McKinney and Retha Anthony. Tonight marks the 5th meeting between these programs in 399 days. A 6th is possible in the playoffs if they end up in the same bracket. They may not. It looks like right now that they may not end up in the same bracket. It looks like Byron Nelson may be 6AD1 this year, and Carroll goes 6AD2. But two of the very best programs in the country, and certainly two of the best in the state, head-to-head tonight here inside the gymnasium in Southlake Carroll Senior High School, the first volleyball match ever on WFAA Plus, and Byron Nelson to serve to get us underway. Sure enough, they do set the middle. Kinsley Young, that finds the back corner for Byron Nelson.
And that's what I was talking about right there, that high volleyball IQ, realizing that back corner is open because all of those players in ready for that block coverage.
So Byron Nelson starts off with a 1-0 advantage. First set here between Carroll and Nelson. You see the serve on its way from Lexi Proctor, and it's an ace. And a 2-0 start for Nelson. Wide open on the overpass, and an easy kill for AJC, and it's 3-0. And a quick timeout called by Leslie Jackson. Not the momentum she wanted to see to start this match.
Absolutely, and taking that timeout to give them a bit of a breather here to try and recoup. They're really attacking the seams with those serves, serving right between two players, where it's forcing them to really communicate, really get their feet to the ball in order to get that pass up. What we might see is a little rearrangement when it comes to the serve-receive line, because they can pull back some of those hitters to be a part of serve-receive in situations like this. So this is what you're seeing here. You've got 4 across instead of the standard 3 as they work to try and get this first ball up.
Proctor again on serve.
There we go, an in-system.
Good save on the back line by Kylie Kleckner. They set the middle again.
Yes.
Dug out nicely.
System coming from the back row. Here we go.
And tooling the block and finding the back line is Kinsley Young, and Southlake Carroll's on the board, and the football program's coming out of their seats. Yeah, I think they're going to bring a little energy tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, they've got him out of system here. Free ball coming over.
They set the backside for Layla Austin.
And one thing you'll notice on those free balls, they're always trying to go to that back right corner, because that's typically where the setter is, and it's forcing them out of system, meaning that they're not going to be able to run their middles because the setter is typically taking that first ball.
Teddy Ray Ewers on serve for Southlake Carroll. Yes, that is the little sister of Quinn Ewers. Big block on the near side, pin by Audrey Hughes. Now tooling the block, though, is AJC, and it's 4-2 Byron Nelson. And the ace, and a 5-2 start for the #1 team in the country.
And they're keeping that same strategy, attacking those seams.
See the Rice commit on serve. In-system opportunity here, and setting the middle is Kinsley Young.
And Coach Jackson said this before, if they can be in system and get those balls to the middles, they will be in this fight.
And now it'll be Young, the TCU commit, to serve for Southlake Carroll. Peterson setting it up for Kleckner. In-system ball coming from Layla Austin. Dug out.
There we go with the dump.
Austin again. Off the block and down, and Carroll scores, and it's 6-4. I will be intrigued to see how both of these teams deal with the environment in the gymnasium. This is not exactly the norm. I think Southlake Carroll said, hey, TV's coming.
Yep.
Let's pump it up in here. Let's get as much volume, as much energy, as many people in the gym as we can. That's a potentially impacting factor. That serve is long off the hands of Mariela Elizondo, the freshman. Carroll will run a 6-2. Elizondo, as well as Emma Eister, the two centers that will work in for Southlake Carroll. Byron Nelson runs the 5-1 around Sophie Peterson, the superstar who is now on serve for the Bobcats.
And that's one big difference you'll see in the two offenses here, is that when Sophie is on front row.
Nice dump.
Sophie is also a hitter, so she can hit that second ball over. If it's out of system, they can set her up. And, you know, she's got one heck of a swing as well. We won't see that from the setters on the Southlake side.
Peterson sets the middle. Good block in the interior. Bump set coming from the libero, Alonso. That one missed long, though, on the backside. And the point to Byron Nelson.
She saw that big block up there and wanted to get a touch. Hit it a little too high. Contacted the ball a little too high there.
Not to be outdone, the Byron Nelson JV is here as well, trying to bring as much noise as they can for the Bobcats on the near sideline. Nice creative play there by Abby Huddleston in the middle to score.
And again, anything to get that first ball to Sophie Peterson so that this Byron Nelson team is out of system.
Alonso, another freshman for Southlake Carroll, the libero today. Lauren St. Charles has been dealing with a stress fracture. They said she might play tonight. Peterson tried to send it over quickly.
And you see them attacking towards Sophie every time. Those middles.
Down the line.
It hit the antenna.
It did hit the antenna. Point to Byron Nelson. The Byron Nelson bench was quickly up.
Yep.
Making sure the officials got the call right. Again, let us know in the YouTube comments where you're watching from tonight. If you got a favorite player on either team, please click the like button and share this feed around as well with your friends and family. A whistle and a point to Southlake Carroll. When these two teams played earlier this year, it was a 3-0 sweep in favor of Byron Nelson, but it was that third set where Carroll was in it right down to the wire, Janelle. They played them very tight, and that was the one that Brianne Gross said we were going to look hard at that third set to see what we needed to do to prevent that, frankly, from happening again.
Yeah, and they were talking about just watching that film in practice throughout this week. Well, really just on Monday, because that's all they had to prepare for this game today. And when we spoke with Coach Groth, she told us she does not want to deal with their middles, and that is what we are seeing in this first match.
She said in particular of Kinsley Young, the senior on her way to TCU, she said, I'm happy that she's a senior because I'm getting sick and tired of coaching against her. She said it in as respectful a way as possible because she's just so talented. That was well done. Right up the middle by Byron Nelson. Carrington Chinnis, the junior transfer, scoring. And it's 10-8 Byron Nelson here in this first set.
And some background on Carrington Chinnis. She was just cleared by the UIL about 3 weeks ago. So this is actually the first time that Southlake Carroll is seeing her, is facing her.
Tough serve there that wasn't handled by Layla Austin. And it's an ace for Byron Nelson and an 11-8 advantage. Yeah, that was one thing that Brienne Gross said. She felt like that could be an advantage for them tonight, is the fact that Carroll hasn't seen Carrington Chinnis yet and may not have as good an idea of what to do with her.
Yep. So just transferred to Byron Nelson, is a Middle Tennessee commit.
Transferred in from Argyle Liberty Christian in the offseason, and it took a little while. A lot of times with transfers, it can get complicated, so it took a little while to get that sorted out and get her eligibility squared away, but she is ready now, and I'm sure is enjoying just fine receiving sets from her fellow junior Sophie Peterson. Peterson will set
going
this
with
one.
The slide. There she goes. And one other thing that's interesting to note here, if you look at her size-wise, she's not your typical middle. She's not a 6'4" middle, but Coach Groth was telling us she's got enough. She's got a vert, and you saw it there when she slammed that ball down the line.
Yeah, I believe she said it was, some people would say she's undersized. She said, I don't believe that. I don't feel that she is undersized. And clearly she has the goods to be able to do what she needs to do. The slide is something that Kinsley Young does very well. This time it's Chinnis sending it back in the other direction.
Absolutely, and she's so quick. The way she's able to work the net back and forth and really get to that block, get a closed block, so that her defense can set up behind her.
Byron Nelson, the defending national champions, the #1 team in the state rankings, the #1 team in the national rankings, the favorite to go win another state title and another national title here in 2025. They did play the #2 team in the country earlier this season, back in August the 15th. They played Sierra Canyon, won that match 2-1. The only set they have dropped all season. Bump set here, back row attack. Overpass from Southlake Carroll. And tooling the block on the near pin is AJC.
Fun fact about AJ, her dad is actually filming this game. I talked to him for a little bit before the match started. And she is actually a pilot. She's learning how to fly planes. Very interesting fun fact that he gave me.
Nice job on the backside by Audrey Hughes, the opposite hitter, to find that back corner. It's fitting. AJC is used to elevation with how she plays the game, so.
She flies on the court and in the skies.
Setting the slide again, but this time off the net and down, and a point for Southlake Carroll. Carroll seems to have withstood the early onslaught from Byron Nelson. They still find themselves trailing, but they're in this here.
Yeah, I think that early timeout was a really good call, just letting them get reset. A lot of times, you know, when you have a game like this one that has so much hype, it's hard to not be in your head when that first ball comes over the net.
Yeah. AJC once again finishing, this time up the line, and it is 15-10 Byron Nelson. We heard Leslie Jackson talking with her team earlier today when they went through their warm-up this afternoon, long before anybody else but us setting up our gear was in the gym, and she said, listen, you guys have nothing to lose tonight. Go out there and make something happen. Nice play there by Kinsley Young in the middle, finding the open space and
when you're
scoring
that
for
high
Carroll.
up, when you're that high up, you can see everything.
What's it like to be that high? I know you were that high once upon a time.
Listen, it's nice.
How high could you touch back in your Cornell days?
I was touching 10-4. So
okay. That one's out on the far sideline.
Like Chinnis, I was a little undersized. I'm about 5'9", 5'10", but Vert was crazy.
Okay.
That benefited me.
The ever bashful Janelle Fort. Vert was crazy.
Modest.
Look at that right up the middle from Layla Austin.
If they could stay in system, they are not stopping Southlake's middles. It's all about getting that pass. If you can get that pass to that setter, the middle can run all day. And what will end up happening here, too, is that Byron Nelson's middles will have to camp out on Southlake's middles, which will open it up for the pins.
From the back row. Did that catch a finger? No, it did not.
Nope. Slightly out of bounds. Great defense by Sophie Peterson there, getting up on that block.
So now it's Peterson on serve. Bump set from Austin. And a point to Byron Nelson. I thought this stat on Sophie Peterson was particularly remarkable. They have, as a team, 1,995 ball handling attempts on the season. Of those 1995, she has 1728. That's not necessarily that out of the ordinary for a setter. But of those 1,728 ball handling attempts, she has one ball handling error all season long. That number as a percentage is 0.05%. She's basically perfect.
Which is why she's number one.
Yes, yes.
It's undeniable. You know what's funny? I was pulling some stats too, and I pulled the NCAA Division I stats for assists per game.
Yeah.
Sophie Peterson beats that number by 2 assists. The number one for Division I right now is a little over 11 assists per game. Sophie Peterson, 13, more than 13.
Incredible. She is the offense. Good block at the net, but tooling the block, that was out. That works out in favor of Southlake Carroll, only just barely. And it's 18-13, but they have some work to do here in this first set.
Oh, great pass. And nice dig.
Layla Austin able to dig it out once again on that back row. They came near side to set Teddy Ray. Now the middle, tough play there by Peterson to keep that one alive. Free ball here for Carroll. They set Teddy Ray Ewers, comes right back to her. Now on the near side, off the pin from Charlie Smith, and a point for Byron Nelson.
One really apparent sign that we're watching good volleyball is the amount of rallying going on here.
Yeah.
These girls are getting up, they're pounding it. And then the girls on the opposite side of the net are able to get it up, keep it in play.
Layla Austin looks dangerous from that back row. Off the block and down for AJC. And Byron Nelson's in the red zone. Anna Katie in the YouTube comments says Southlake is her team. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. Please click that share button. Send this feed around to your friends throughout the Southlake community, the high school volleyball community at large. Let them know they can tune in tonight. Back row attack from Kleckner, dug out nicely on the back row by Austin. Peterson again setting the back row. Another nice dig, this time from Alonzo. Tough play at the net. Free ball for Nelson. And the point goes to Byron Nelson.
That was a rough call. So on the net, on a second ball, it has to break the plane for the other side to come over. Southlake is arguing that it didn't break the plane. Byron Nelson says that it did.
Ultimately, it goes in favor of the Bobcats. Tough set there. All that Charlie Smith could do was just pop it over, and that creates an opportunity on the near side. C does find that back corner. And Byron Nelson is 3 points away from a first set victory. Into the net for Layla Austin. Byron Nelson has pulled away here in this first set. It is a best of 5, as you can see on your screen. Byron Nelson has swept almost everybody that they have played this year.
That pass just a little too tight to the net for the setter. Caught it on the way down.
Kleckner on serve. Right down the pipe came Teddy Ray Ewers. See, nice job by Peterson to get underneath that one from the back row. Kleckner dug out by Austin, but the overpass, and it's out of bounds. And that is the first set. Byron Nelson pulls away for a 25-13 win in set number 1. You're watching high school game night volleyball on WFAA+. End zone shot. What a catch!
Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. This week, Aledo at Denton Ryan. Stream the broadcast free this Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
Thanks, Delkus.
Thanks, Delkus.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
WFAA has a legacy of changing the system.
Most recently, we did a story on ankle monitors and how they don't work, and how criminals are committing crimes with ankle monitors. And yeah, there's legislative change coming.
Our 2-year investigation caught the attention of state representatives. Now, it's a crime to cut off ankle monitors.
I want people to see things that we need to hold people accountable for.
What's up, football fans? It's the best time of the year. Every Monday morning, we want to hear what you have to say about the game. Join me, Mark Istook, Glenn Strutch-Smith, and Rebecca Lopez for the Call-In Show, Monday mornings at 11:30.
Sponsored by K-Post Company.
End zone shot. What a catch!
Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, DeSoto at Duncanville. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
North Texas, it's a hot one today. If you're planning on taking the pups out, make sure to protect their paws. That asphalt is going to be hot.
Thanks, Delkin.
Thanks, Delkus.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
The Byron Nelson Bobcats, a 25-13 win in set number 1, and a 1-0 advantage. If you're Leslie Jackson in the huddle with Southlake Carroll, what's the message? What do you change here in set number 2 to switch things around a little bit?
I think they got in their head a little bit because they were so close, and then there were just a couple of errors that happened, and they just never regained the momentum after those errors. And those are the times when you really have to come together in that huddle, let the huddle breathe a little bit, because you're allowed to do that. Kind of recuperate, regroup without wasting that time out.
Yeah.
And that really boils down to leadership on the court. You know, your captains are the ones that kind of initiate that. One of the tricks we used to use when I was at Cornell is if we were kind of getting in a funk, somebody's shoe magically became untied. And you would just drop down and take your time, pretend like you're back in kindergarten.
That's good. I like that.
To tie it back up.
That's coy.
Yeah. Can't really get in trouble for doing that.
No.
The ref, I mean, they might look at you maybe a little annoyed because they know the strategy, but you can't play if your shoe's untied.
You do what you have to do. Carroll to serve to get us underway. Off the block and down for AJC. Point to Southlake Carroll, and the Dragons start things the way they'd like to here in this second set. Sean Miller in the YouTube comment says he's supporting Janelle tonight. Janelle Ford, our color analyst. Jason Martinson says Byron Nelson continues to dominate Southlake in volleyball. They did in that first set. Nice dump there from Sophie Peterson.
And that's an advantage that Byron Nelson is going to have running that 5-1. When Sophie is on front row, she is not only playing QB, if you will.
Right.
She is also an attacker and can get points in that capacity.
The senior AJC on serve. Just long. And the service error makes it 2-1 Southlake Carroll.
Collins Alonso doing a really good job following that ball, making sure that it was in fact going out.
Teddy Ray Ewers on serve.
Dump
Another
there.
dump. Peterson reads that so well.
Yeah. And really that's on Kingsley Young to stay there with her. Until that ball is set, she's going to have to be on Peterson when she's in front row.
2-2 here, early goings of this second set. Bump set on the near side for Austin. Dug out by Kleckner far side. Peterson with the bump set for Kleckner. And too hot to handle on the back row for Teddy Ray Ewers.
I'm really seeing the contact point of that ball. That was one of those hits that might have been on its way out.
I was about to ask you if that looked to me like it may have been one that was worth letting go and seeing whether it actually found the line. Savannah Sterna, the libero, with the serve, and it's into the net. And it's 3-3.
Now this is when you pick up that momentum. When you see an error, especially a service error, that should give your team momentum. The one part that they struggle with, having Young back there serving, is that she's going to have to play defense. And typically your middle blockers are not in the back row playing defense.
Austin with the big swing. And Carroll.
Out of bounds.
That didn't hit the block. I thought that would have been off of a Nelson hand. Apparently not, and it is out of bounds, and a point for Byron Nelson. Anna Katie says that she's watching for Vanessa tonight. Katie McCarthy Neatery says go Bobcats. Austin. Peterson read the tip.
A great read, but a great block there.
Abby Huddleston up high.
And Huddleston did such an incredible job of closing that block there. So Southlake switching setters here. Marielle Elizondo is now in. The other half of that 6-2.
Coming from the back row, AJC able to finish. Leslie Jackson said of Elizondo, she is a rising superstar. Really, really talented freshman that is just beginning her career with the Dragons.
And her mom, Marielle's mom, says that she's hilarious. And, fun fact, she can rap.
Okay. Nice work to get down to pull that one up by Collins Alonso. Peterson swooping in to save it. Back row attack from Kleckner coming, but it's into the net. A 5-5 start here in set number 2. Chad Peters says he's watching from London tonight, watching his Southlake Carroll team while traveling for work. Chad, we appreciate you watching tonight.
Mike, you didn't tell me we were going to be international.
Oh, that is not uncommon here on WFAA Plus. We've got people tuning in each week for our high school football broadcast that are telling us, especially when we did Southlake Carroll Euless Trinity, we had people tuning in from Tonga. Nice work on the far side. AJC having a very nice night.
A great night.
Bump set coming from Austin, hunting that far side and finding it is Audrey Hughes, and it's 6-all. What is Carroll doing better here so far, in your mind?
They are really, the middles are working very hard to open up those shots for the pin hitters. The middles are coming in so strong that Byron Nelson's middles can't break away from them in time.
AJC tooling the block, and it's 7-6 in favor of Byron Nelson. It'll be the senior Lexi Proctor on serve now, the right side. They call her the silent assassin. So much talent on this Byron Nelson team that so many people have to pay attention to. Nice block.
That block was
roofed by AJC. Chinnis there as well.
So fun fact about Lexi Proctor, she loves to read, which you are seeing kind of translate into here because she's able to read the court, but her parents say, like, when they were describing it, they were like, she really, like, loves books, loves to read.
Nelson couldn't do anything with that attack from Kinsley Young. Charlie Smith coming back on for the Dragons, as is Emma Eister as they continue to run their 6-2 set. And Eister will be on serve. Leslie Jackson saying Eister has kind of come out of her shell a little more this year, a little bit more of a leader, a little more vocal, super smart player. Kleckner dug out on that back line by Austin. Now Kleckner getting her hands on that one. Blocked down by Young. Nothing they could do with that one. And Byron Nelson with a 2-point advantage.
Peterson just has such a strong volleyball IQ. She's got an eye for the opposite side of the net, is really able to exploit the weak spots, the open spots, and we've seen that time and time again, especially this match, because if you look, she's made at least 3 points. At least 3 points.
Yeah.
Sending that second ball over.
Let's serve, tough to deal with. They managed to do so, and finding that back corner.
Now, if you saw the trick play, middle came around for the slide, and they set back right. So they actually set the back row on that and got that kill out of the back row because the middle was following the middle. That's what opened up that lane.
So now Savannah Sterner on serve. Tough serve, unable to handle it is Teddy Ray Ewers, and the ace for Byron Nelson makes it 11-8. Breanne Barker-Groth, the head coach for Byron Nelson. This was a quality program all along, but when she came, it did go to another level. They've won state titles now in 2019 and 2024. The former All-American at Oklahoma, elevating this program since she came over in 18. Big swing there by Layla Austin, but dug out by Byron Nelson. Free ball. And they set the middle for Kinsley Young.
Kinsley is going to find that spot every time, and that's that whip of an arm I was talking about. She's already 6'4", but I mean, once she jumps and she's up there, who's really stopping that?
Colin Alsop says he's watching from Tacoma, Washington tonight. Anna Katie says, is this varsity? Yeah, it's varsity. It's varsity, and it's some of the best varsity programs in the country. Kleckner misses long. They're arguing it got a fingertip. Officials say no. Point to Carroll, and it's a 1-point second set.
Southlake Carroll doing so much better this go round and staying tight. This was at this last match where Byron Nelson was able to really pull away. Southlake
out of the back row,
really
it's AJC.
Not really letting them get too far ahead of them at this point.
How hard is what Sophie Peterson just did there? Out of system, bump set, and she sets a back row attack like that.
You've got to know your team. She knew she had a powerhouse back there.
What a play right there by Peterson to swoop in and save that one.
And they're really forcing each other to be out of system. Woo.
And now the block
Big
up
block.
high. Mallory McMahon and Lexi Proctor.
And Coach Grove told us, you know, Mallory McMahon, she's still learning the game, but she has good instincts. And we saw that there as she stayed on that ball and really, you know, got that straight down block.
And that is out of bounds, just barely, nearly a hero shot. Instead, it's a 2-point set.
Very lucky there, very lucky.
This will be a good look at it down the line here, just how close this was. But it is outside that white line. And Carroll back on serve. Elizondo, the freshman. Peterson setting the middle. Dug out, but it's out of bounds. Collins Alonso did a nice job to even get a hand underneath that, but couldn't keep it within the court of play. And the point to Byron Nelson. Klettner, the reigning Texas Player of the Year, on serve for the Bobcats. Out of system opportunity, nearly got down. Peterson able to dig it out.
That was a great dig.
Austin off the block. AJC has been terrific tonight.
Smart move by Coach Jackson calling the timeout here before they can get too far ahead.
15-11 the tally in favor of Byron Nelson. One of the cool things about this match is the players on both sides, Janelle, that know each other very well because they play club volleyball together at TAV, an organization that I know you played with as well during your playing days. In particular, though, Kinsley Young, the middle blocker for Southlake Carroll, and Kylie Klettner, the Washington commit for Byron Nelson, best friends.
Besties.
Like, not only do they play together, they're best friends.
Besties.
So it's an interesting dynamic for the two of them when they're face-to-face at the net.
Look, you can't tell tonight that they're besties. Maybe once they go through and shake hands, they'll give each other a little hug. But yeah, TAV, a number of these girls also play for Skyline, two of the most elite clubs in the DFW area, have been that way for decades. Back when I played at TAV, Skyline was our big competitors.
Yeah.
Southlake Carroll coach Leslie Jackson played at TAV during the time that I did. She's a year older than me. I would look over to the courts right next to ours and see her just being a phenomenal player, looking up to her. So it is nice to see her out here tonight.
Out of the timeout. Carroll trying to find a rally here. Klettner sending it over.
That was a great set.
Nicely done on the near side at the pin by Audrey Hughes, and it's back down to a 3-point margin.
Mariela Elizondo and that set, it was butter. It was butter. She put her outside in a great position to have a lot of options, and that's why we saw it go down in the way that it did.
Peterson setting up Lexi Proctor on the near side. The senior right side able to score. 16-12 Byron Nelson here in this second set. Again, a best of 5. Byron Nelson looking to take a 2-0 advantage if they can finish this one off, but Southlake Carroll trying to reel them back in. Setting the middle once again. Hughes couldn't finish there. Now Chinnis misses long. No touch on its way through. A point to Southlake Carroll.
Peterson needed to get that ball just a little bit higher for Chinnis.
Collins Alonso, the freshman libero. Again, Lauren St. Charles, the senior, who's committed to Trinity University, dealing with a stress fracture of late. They weren't sure if she'd be able to play tonight. We have not seen her yet. Up high for the block. Audrey Hughes sending it down. Back down to a 2-point margin.
And you just got to watch how just big that block is. There was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go.
Young was in there for the block as well. From the back row, Austin finds the back line. Yep. The margin's down to 1.
And again, when we spoke with Coach Jackson, she was talking about exploiting that right back when Sophie Peterson is back there.
Long and left, out of bounds. The service error makes it 17-15 Byron. Good serve from Lexi Proctor. And there at the net to cancel out the opportunity is Carrington Chinnis.
And when you're setting those middles, you've got to get it. There's like a sweet spot on those quick sets, because if it's too low, there's nothing you can do with it. It doesn't matter.
That's long. Southlake Carroll is right there. And if this gets tighter late in the set, the atmosphere in here is going to start to build. And again, I'm finding myself wondering, how is that going to be handled by, frankly, both of these teams? If we get a late red zone situation where it's tight and it gets loud in here. C finds that back corner.
And one of the reasons it is so tight is because Southlake is really capitalizing on Byron Nelson errors. Byron Nelson has had service errors. They've had a few hitting errors. And Southlake is using that to their advantage.
C on serve. Tough play there. They managed to get it over.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't call it a lift.
High off the block from Teddy Ray Ewers. Far side for Kleckner.
And it was out.
Out of bounds. Point to Carroll.
That line shot was there. She's just a little bit too much.
Just pulled it a little bit to the left. So Lauren St. Charles, we mentioned earlier, dealing with injury. She is out there right now. The senior libero, not playing libero at the moment, but seeing some action here for Carroll. Tooling the block is Carrington Chinnis. A 3-point advantage for Byron. Late here now in this second set. And a timeout called by Leslie Jackson, her second of this set.
On that last play, you saw them. The block was there, kind of. On those things, you have to get your feet set and go straight up, because if you're still floating out, it is very easy to take advantage of that momentum of you floating and use that.
A moment here for Southlake Carroll to try and gather themselves and attack this late second set stretch. Leslie Jackson's team, one of few in the state that frankly have a chance to steal a set off of Byron Nelson, and they have an opportunity here in this second set.
And I'm reading Coach Jackson's lips, and she's like, yeah, you got to get out there, get your feet planted on that block. Because they're there. They're there, they're up.
Speaking of up,
This
the football
team.
program bringing the energy. They know it's time.
And it's always special when, your fellow student athletes come out to support you in such a big way.
Kleckner, long. The football players are nearly on the court.
You can see Coach Groth over there.
Working the officials.
Yeah. The second time that they believe there was a touch, no touch call. In those instances, it's the up ref and the line official on the Byron Nelson side to call whether or not there's a touch.
That one was too hot to handle for Kinsley Young, and it's back to a 3-point advantage for Byron, 21-18. Again, first to 25, you do have to win by 2. So they will go to extra points if necessary.
So Peterson's back on back row here. If I were Southlake at this point, every ball I send over would be going towards her.
The ace from Peterson off the hands of Alonzo.
They've got to get this pass.
In-system ball coming from the backside. Charlie Smith missed long. And just like that, it's a 5-point advantage for Byron Nelson. And a chance to put this one away. Tough dig, but good work to at least keep that ball alive.
Out of system here.
Kleckner. Austin off the net and down, and it's set point for Byron Nelson. Southlake Carroll was right there.
Yeah.
And then Byron Nelson just ran away from him in a heartbeat.
And you know what? Layla Austin was playing smart volleyball there. I think she thought she was a little closer to the net than she actually was.
Austin keeps Southlake Carroll alive.
And that's how you do it. That's how you bounce back after an error. And that shows the chemistry between her and her setters as well. One of the big things when I was playing was if I had an error, I want you to give me the ball right back.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make up for it. And that's exactly what Layla Austin just did.
So Elizondo, the freshman, on serve. A second set point here for Byron Nelson. Peterson. Kleckner had it blocked. They'll set her up again. Try to tip it over the top. Read by Southlake Carroll, and Austin finishes. Terminal work from Layla Austin.
Yeah.
24-20.
You know, Layla Austin is averaging 4 kills per set. That might not sound like a high number, but that is a very high number.
Austin at 4.1, Kleckner at 4.9, the two leaders in that category for their respective teams. Down the line, near side, that's out. Point to Carroll, back down to a 3-point margin.
We've got ourselves a game.
Still a mountain to climb here for Carroll. There is no room for error at present, but they are still alive. Peterson setting the middle, and there's the finisher. Lexi Proctor putting it down, and Byron Nelson takes set number 2. Southlake Carroll made him work for it, but Lexi Proctor, the senior right side, puts it down, and it's a 25-21 win for Byron Nelson in set number 2 on high school game night volleyball.
End zone shot.
What a catch!
Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. This week, Aledo at Denton Ryan. Stream the broadcast free this Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
Thanks for downloading the WFAA Plus app. The main page is a live stream of WFAA programming, and you can find on-demand stories as well. Just click a tab at the top of your screen and scroll down to find WFAA original programming.
North Texas, it's a hot one today. If you're planning on taking your pups out, make sure to protect their paws. That asphalt is going to be hot.
Thanks, Delkin. Thanks, Delkus.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
What's up, football fans? It's the best time of the year. Every Monday morning, we want to hear what you have to say about the game. Join me, Mark Istook, Glenn Strutch-Smith, and Rebecca Lopez for the Call-In Show, Monday mornings at 11:30.
Sponsored by K-Post Company.
End zone shot. What a catch! Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, DeSoto at Duncanville. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
Thanks, Delkus.
Thanks, Delkus.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
WFAA has a legacy of changing the system.
Most recently, we did a story on ankle monitors and how they don't work, and how criminals are committing crimes with ankle monitors. And yeah, there's legislative change coming.
Our 2-year investigation caught the attention of state representatives. Now, it's a crime to cut off ankle monitors.
I want people to see things that we need to hold people accountable for.
The Byron Nelson Bobcats, the #1 team in the country in girls high school volleyball, leading 2-0 on 11th ranked Southlake Carroll here at Carroll Senior High. Terrific atmosphere here tonight. The Byron Nelson football team in attendance, both middle schools, Carroll Middle School, Dawson Middle School, in the house to fill up the gym and bring the energy. Byron Nelson with a good crowd behind us as well. Leslie Jackson's team made a good little run there in that second set, Janelle, and kept that one very close. 25-21, the final in favor of Byron Nelson. What can they take from that second set here into the third and maybe try and actually hunt down Byron Nelson?
Well, you know, when we spoke with Coach Jackson earlier this week, she was talking about the fact that Byron Nelson doesn't make a ton of errors. That is not what we saw this past set. We saw a lot of errors by this team. I'm not sure if we will see that same amount this round, but they really need to take the momentum from that last game because it was close. And, you know, this was probably as close as anyone has gotten to this Byron Nelson team in a very long time. So today is kind of a tiebreaker between these two teams.
Yes.
Looking through.
Kind of a long-term tiebreaker,
yeah. Long-term tiebreaker because since October of 2021, these two teams are 5-5 against each other. Tonight, one of these teams will become 6 and the other one will stay at 5. And then we were mentioning just how packed this gym is, including the Byron Nelson side. But we also have to remember these are two schools that are literally down the street from each other.
Yes.
So not hard for the folks from Byron Nelson to drive down Southlake Boulevard.
Easy drive. Setting the slide for Kinsley Young. AJC's had a very, very nice night. Tough ball here, blocked down. Carroll able to stay alive. From the back row, it's Austin.
Collins Alonzo with the up and no one back there.
Wow. You won't see that very often. I'm not sure who was wrong there. I'm going to guess it wasn't Sophie Peterson. But a mistake there from Byron Nelson, and Southlake Carroll scores the first point here of this third set.
Sad, too, because that was such a great set.
And now there for the block is Kinsley Young.
Southlake starting this with a lot of momentum, that same momentum I was saying that they needed going into this match if they want to have a shot at this going to 5.
C blocked again.
Oh, it didn't go.
And a 3-0 start for Southlake Carroll here in this third set.
Very interesting, the refs didn't call that. Went into the net, no touch. The ball should have been dead.
C off the block, and Carroll couldn't do anything with it. And it's 3-1. To your point, that 25-21 set that Byron Nelson just won in the second set, very likely the closest in a very long time, because Keller, a program that themselves is in the top 10 in the state rankings, played Byron Nelson about a week and a half or two ago, and even that match, none of the 3 sets against Keller were closer than 25-19.
Fun fact, Keller's head coach is the sister of Coach Grove.
Yes. Now a service error from Byron Nelson, and it's 4-1 in favor of Southlake Carroll.
And again, capitalizing on those errors here.
Highland Park played Byron Nelson to a 25-22 set back in August. That's one that I can find that was closer. It doesn't happen often. This is some really high quality volleyball.
Yes.
From the back row, AJC.
Oh, come on, yes. Great
Still
up.
alive.
Great up.
Byron Nelson saying that was 4 touches. Overpass from Carroll. Peterson sets Kleckner, and she finishes it.
That hard cut. Using the block to her advantage there. But even if she didn't use the block to her advantage and she hit that hard cut, the outside wasn't where they needed to be to dig that ball. So just really good awareness of the court.
So it's 4-2 as Sterna, the libero, will serve. Overpass, and Peterson's there to take advantage of it. That's something that Southlake Carroll cannot afford to do. You can't give away points if you're going to be able to pull off doing anything against this Byron Nelson program.
It's almost like they were a little surprised that they were doing as well as they were doing.
Austin off the block, sliding in to save that one was Caitlin Francis, and then they punish it. Up over 200 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. We appreciate you being with us. Please click that like button and click the share button so that folks all around the Byron Nelson and Southlake communities, the Texas high school volleyball community at large, can tune in tonight and see a matchup of 2 of the top programs in the state of Texas. That is just in, and a point to Southlake Carroll. Anna Thompson in the YouTube comments saying Bobcats are #1 in the nation, says let's go, beat those Dragons in 3 straight sets now. We'll see if they're able to. They trail right now in this third set 5-4 as Carroll is on serve. Emma Eister with the service error.
You know, in volleyball, we always say you never want to give them that free point on a serve.
Peterson sends it over for Byron. Right down the middle. Did not catch a fingertip. Point to Byron as it was out of bounds. Bobcats with their first lead of this third set. From the back row, AJC tooling the block.
And she's just such a force in that back row. 2 of these 7 points came from a kill from AJC out of the back row.
Bump set for Audrey Hughes. In system ball, again a back row opportunity for C. Austin, she is fantastic.
So of course I also talked to Layla Austin's family. Fun fact about her, she is very artsy and she can draw really, really well.
She's pretty good at volleyball too.
Absolutely.
Hughes sends that one over. Peterson setting the backside pin, dug out nicely by Emma Eister. Hughes missed that one long.
Just a little early on her approach there, which is why she ended up underneath that ball. So much of being able to hit well is getting your feet to the ball. If you can get to your feet to the ball, everything else comes pretty naturally.
Overpass and a violation on Carroll. And it's 9-6 Byron Nelson. Third set action here.
Smart
and a
call
timeout by
Leslie
Jackson.
The goal is always to stop the momentum before things slip too far away.
Southlake Carroll coming off of a bye this past Friday, so they had a week to get ready for this match. They had that Friday match off. So a little bit extra time for Leslie Jackson's program to get ready for this match and gear themselves up for obviously a very difficult test against Breanne Barker Grove's team. They have shown themselves to be game for the fight, but the reality of the matter is Byron Nelson is #1 in the country for a reason. We were talking with both coaches before the match. It is likely at this point, it will depend on whether Northwest or Eaton makes the postseason out of District 4-6A. It is likelier to be Northwest at this point. And if Northwest does indeed make the postseason, that would mean Byron Nelson would toggle to 6A D1 this year. Carroll would remain 6A D2 just as they were last year, which means it's very possible to now both of these programs win a state championship this year.
Which is phenomenal. And again, the fact that they're just so close to each other.
Clever play there by Teddy Ray Ewers.
We mentioned this pocket of North Texas, this pocket of DFW with just really, really good volleyball. And if both of them take it all the way, you know, that'll be even more proof.
We have Duncanville DeSoto football in about a week and a half, and it's kind of similar to those two programs, very close together. Both won back-to-back state titles in 22 and 23. Byron Nelson and Southlake Carroll, as well as Keller, the power nexus in North Texas. That one was out on that far sideline. And Carroll has tightened the gap here out of this timeout with back-to-back points.
And those line shots are so tricky because it's like the wrong move of the hand and you're slightly out of bounds.
Peterson setting C. She just absolutely detonates.
I want to see what her percentage is tonight. Because she is just ball after ball going at it.
A 10-8 advantage for Byron Nelson. Peyton Vogel on for the first time tonight to serve, and right down the middle comes Kinsley Young to answer back. Mallory McMahon checking back in now for Byron Nelson, the sophomore. Still young, but they really like her instincts, and a really athletic, fast kid that understands the game well despite her inexperience. Klettner from the back row. There to block it is her best friend, Kingsley Young. Dug out on that back corner by Alonzo. Austin. Off the ceiling, still alive. Overpass here. Free ball for Carroll. And Young finishes it. 10-10.
Not want Southlake in system, especially Not with Kinsley on the front row.
Kinsley Young, very possibly the best senior in all of DFW, as advertised tonight.
And she's been playing since she was 13.
Nice try there, but Sterna there to dig it out. Overpass, free ball for Byron. AJC again.
And just saw that that line is open, really taking advantage of that shorter right side there. She knows that that cross shot is going to be hard with Kinsley up there with that big block.
Brian Groth told us earlier this week, AJC is part of what makes them really, is it's an ace here for Byron Nelson. She said AJC is part of what makes us really, really hard to beat, because everybody's geared up for Kylie, everybody's geared up for Sophie Peterson, and we rotate Kylie Kleckner to the back row, and hey, now you got to deal with AJC. There is no relenting with this Byron Nelson program. They will come at you in every facet of their program. Austin, dug out on the back row by Kleckner. C again. Did it catch a fingertip? No. Southlake Carroll arguing that it had. Charlie Smith thought that she had sent this one off a finger. That replay angle was a pretty good look at it. I don't think it did.
It didn't look like it. One thing AJC does really well is when she knows she can't pound something, she's really good at making sure that she's contacting it high. So it's able to go off the blocker's hands and still onto the other side of the court.
Charlie Smith answering back though for Carroll. And once again, we have ourselves a set. It's a 2-point margin in favor of Byron Nelson right now as Lauren St. Charles is on serve.
And a great serve there, taking them way out of system.
And the block. Point for Carroll, and it's a 1-point margin.
And really that's what it takes. With Kylie, or Kinsley, excuse me, on that net for Southlake Carroll, if they're out of system, she's going to be there. And even in system, look at that. Just a really, really big block. Feet planted. Aggressive. She really does a really good job of penetrating the net with her hands.
13 all. C looking to answer. Dug out. Tough ball. There for the block is Kinsley Young. Carroll with the advantage in the third set.
Kinsley Young did such a phenomenal job following
just
Sophie Peterson on that, knowing that Peterson's not afraid to get up and battle at the net. And Young knowing that she could dominate that.
14-14 third set, and a service error from AJC. She hasn't done much wrong tonight. A rare mistake from the senior committed to Rice. And now Kinsley Young will serve.
Back-to-back errors.
Over 250 with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Things heating up here. Dump try, Peterson. She is so good at that.
Southlake Carroll arguing that they didn't touch that ball. The angle here not great, so.
Carroll sorting out a substitution here.
Got libero back in.
Sterna.
Alonso.
Sterna, the libero for Byron Nelson to serve. They'll set the middle again. When they are in system, they are on point, and it's Abby Huddleston.
Byron Nelson is really struggling to stop Southlake Carroll's middles. And they said that before the match. You know, when we talked to Coach Groves, she told us, look, their middles dominate, and when they are in system.
Look out.
Right?
Emma Eister on serve,
Again,
tough serve.
system,
Peterson
great.
able to save that one, but it's a free ball here for Carroll.
Let's go. Let's see what's about to happen.
Austin high off the block. Peterson setting Kleckner. Clever play. And a big answer from Byron Nelson.
And that's one of those balls that's hard because it's a pick between letting your setter take that ball or as an outside coming in and digging it.
See from the back row blocked. Bump set to the near side for Kleckner, and she missed long. No touch on the way through. Point to Carroll, and they lead again.
This is the volleyball we want to see.
This is what Leslie Jackson wants to see.
Very tight game, very good volleyball. Great rallies.
Off the block, but down out of bounds. Point to Byron, 17 all. Kleckner on serve. They set the quick, dug out nicely by Peterson. See, had it blocked. Peterson looking for a back corner, dug out. What a play on the backside by Austin, and they capitalize. Unbelievable work by Layla Austin in that back corner to get on that ball. And Carroll is able to score, and they lead again, 18-17. Peterson setting C, blocked but out of bounds. Point to Nelson.
Both of these teams are doing a really good job of covering each other. So you go up to hit, it's the job of your teammates to be there just in case you are blocked, to be able to get that ball up and have another shot at it. And that's a part of the reason why we're seeing these long rallies as well.
Nothing they can do with Kinsley Young. 19-18 Carroll.
And when it gets to this point of the game, Kinsley Young is exactly who you want up at the net.
State championship level volleyball from two of the best programs in the state going back and forth here in this third set. AJC, terminal, 19 all. This is definitely a night where I wish we had stats because, oh my goodness, what is her hitting percentage? It's got to be through the roof.
It's got to be through the roof. And she's doing it from wherever. You set her on the back row, she's going to put it down. You set her on the front row in system, she's going to put it down. You set her on the front row out of system, she very likely will put it down.
Service error, though, there from Byron. And Carroll is first to the red zone, 20-19. And St. Charles, the senior libero, battling through stress fractures to be on the court tonight. On serve, misses just long.
We used to run for missed serves during games because it's just such an easy point.
20-20. The middle, Kinsley Young again. They can feel it here in the gymnasium at Southlake Carroll Senior High School. An opportunity here to take a set off the best team in the country. Young on serve. Carroll 4 points away. Kleckner dug out. St. Charles got underneath it. Now Austin looking for the back corner, and they score. Timeout, Brianne Grove.
And this timeout is going to be the determining factor. The way that Byron Nelson comes out of this timeout and the way that Southlake Carroll comes out of this timeout will be the difference in these next few points and who takes this set. Very smart call by Coach Grove. And the football team over there going wild.
They've been going wild all night, but the moment our photographer Graham Rayner headed that way, yeah, they got a little extra fired up.
They're like, it's time to cut up.
Middle school night here as well inside the gymnasium at Southlake Carroll Senior High School. The very first volleyball match we have ever carried here on WFAA Plus, and Carroll has an opportunity to shock everybody and take a set off Byron Nelson. They are 3 points away. And to your point, Janelle Fort, how do these two teams come out of that timeout?
We're about to see.
Peterson, another dump. You can just see it coming when she sees the opportunity. The margin is down to 1.
The one thing Sophie Peterson does really good on that dump is that it looks like she's going up to set.
Yeah.
So it's really hard as a middle blocker to commit.
Austin off the block and down. Peterson there to block it. McMahon as well, roofing.
And Byron Nelson came out of this ready to play.
22 all.
In that huddle, saying they don't want to go another set. 3 and done.
Good serve by Sterna. They set the middle. Austin out of bounds on the near side. Point to Carroll. Eister and Hughes back in. And it will be Eister to serve. First to 25, have to win by 2.
Out of system here. Back row, tip. Come on.
Dug out, wow. Peterson. Kleckner has it dug out. Austin from the backside, the tip try, and it gets down. Set point, Carroll.
Timeout. Now this is the real deciding factor here.
Another look at it here, the read by Layla Austin to float it over top of the block. And Carroll is 1 point away
from taking this set.
Carroll won a set off of Nelson in each of the 2 regular season matches a year ago. In the playoffs, when they met in the regional final, Byron won in a sweep. But Carroll with as good an opportunity as you could ask for here. Up 24-22 coming out of this timeout.
And Carroll walking back onto that court, looking really confident, very loose, smiling. Those are all good signs coming out of a timeout like this one.
No doubt. Can they finish the job? Eister, the senior, again on serve. Peterson. Carroll with an opportunity into the net. Point to Byron, 24-23. And now the top volleyball player in the country will be on serve, and a timeout is called by Leslie Jackson before that.
And truthfully, this is the last person you want back there on the line.
Yes.
The last person you want back there on the line for the Southlake Carroll team.
What has Carroll done best in your mind in this set to create this situation?
Their hitters are all working really hard to keep their blockers on them. The middles are working hard, which is opening things up for both of the pins. But they're also playing really scrappy. They're going for everything. They're chasing everything down. They're not giving up on plays, and that is so important in volleyball in general, but especially when you're playing a team with such a high volleyball IQ like Byron Nelson has. You can't give up. You can't give up on any play, and that's one thing that we're seeing from Southlake Carroll, especially in these past two matches.
Either Carroll will win on this point or will go to extra points. Have to win by 2. They'll set the middle with Austin. Off the block and down! Southlake Carroll, 25-23 in set number 3. They do take a set off the top team in the country and will go to set number 4. It will be the first time all year that Byron Nelson plays a 4th set. Because the only time they had a set taken off of them was a best of 3 against Sierra Canyon. They have not played a 4th set in 2025. They will after this on high school game night. End zone shot. What a catch!
Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. This week, Aledo at Denton Ryan. Stream the broadcast free this Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
Thanks, Delkus.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
WFAA has a legacy of changing the system.
Most recently, we did a story on ankle monitors and how they don't work, and how criminals are committing crimes with ankle monitors. And yeah, there's legislative change coming.
Our 2-year investigation caught the attention of state representatives. Now, it's a crime to cut off ankle monitors.
I want people to see things that we need to hold people accountable for.
What's up, football fans? It's the best time of the year. Every Monday morning, we want to hear what you have to say about the game. Join me, Mark Istook, Glenn Strutch-Smith, and Rebecca Lopez for the Call-In Show, Monday mornings at 11:30.
Sponsored by Keypost Company.
End zone shot. What a catch!
Catch a live broadcast of every play of the biggest high school football games. Next week, DeSoto at Duncanville. Stream the broadcast free next Friday night at 7 on WFAA+.
North Texas, it's a hot one today. If you're planning on taking the pumps out, make sure to protect your paws. That asphalt is going to be hot.
Thanks, Delkin. Thanks, Delkus.
Possibly the most loved and hated man in North Texas. Whatever the weather brings, we bring the Delkus.
(25-23) Southlake Carroll in the 3rd set. And we head to the 4th. Byron Nelson still with a 2-1 lead. Certainly still in firm control, Janelle Fort. However, for the first time since August 15th, someone has taken a set off of the #1 team in the country. That alone for Leslie Jackson's team is enough to buoy their confidence for the balance of this evening, and something they can build off for the balance of this season regardless of what happens in this 4th set.
And I think Byron Nelson was a little surprised that they took that set, especially if you look back to the first set. The first set wasn't close. That second set, closer.
Yes.
I don't think that they really thought they were going to lose that third set. Southlake Carroll coming into set 4 with a lot of confidence coming off that last set, which is always what you want, especially when you're the team that's down, when you're the team that's trying to get to that 5th set.
Can they build on that confidence? Can they keep Byron Nelson off balance? On the slide, they set it up for Carrington Chinnis. And the first point of set number 4 goes to Byron Nelson.
Chinnis doing a good job of using that block on that play there.
Off the net, Carroll handles it well. They set the slide, and off the block, tooling it is Kinsley Young, and it's 1-1. Tough play here for Peterson. Did a great job to keep that ball in play. Hunting that back corner with Southlake Carroll to no avail. Chinnis dug out. Now Young off the block and down.
That play by Peterson, though, showing you why she's number 1. Not many high school players could have done something with that ball.
I really appreciate the gumption, the chutzpah of the JV Byron Nelson team. That one stays alive. 4 touches, though, for Southlake Carroll, and the point goes to Byron Nelson.
So Coach Jackson arguing that ball went into the net and wasn't hit by a player before it was scooped out. They're going to go and try and appeal to the ref. But the ref is saying that someone touched it on its way to the net. Regardless, though, great play out of the net. You know, you practice that, digging them out, because that happens sometimes.
Marielle Elizondo still trying to argue the point. Leslie Jackson making her case as well. To no avail, it will be 2-2.
The freshman arguing the point at that.
Yes. And doing quite a good job, I would argue. Handling the moment well. She sets it up for Austin. The tip try won't go. Free ball here.
There we go.
Young had it dug out. Austin off the block. Still alive. Bump set for Austin. Blocked and down. Sophie Peterson roofing it. I started to say I appreciate the gumption of the Byron Nelson JV team over our right shoulder, hollering at the Southlake Carroll football team saying, "We can't hear you." That takes a little bit of something.
They're quite outnumbered, though.
On the slide, Kinsley Young is terrific. 3-3. Official timeout on the floor. Our down official, Beth Willis, meeting with the scorer's table. There you see the JV team from Byron Nelson trying to bring some energy tonight.
So Coach Groth here trying to make sure that they are in rotation. She just asked who their last server was, because if they are out of rotation, that's an automatic point for the other team. Ref stopping again to do another check here.
Isn't it 3-3? There we go. Now, okay. Now
Perfect.
Scoreboard also reflects what I thought the score was. Okay. And it's Kinsley Young on serve. for Southlake Carroll.
Great serve there.
Nothing the libero Sterna can do with that one. The Southlake Carroll bench so fired up that they just slammed into one of the assistant coaches for the Dragons. An assistant coach caught one of the younger players on the roster square in the back.
Oh, no.
They are fired up right now. From the back row, C had it blocked. Huddleston up high.
And you can just see the confidence going up for the Southlake Carroll team here. They took that momentum from match 3, rolled it over into this match. Playing some very steady volleyball, very scrappy volleyball.
Peterson, Kleckner, hunting the back line was Austin, but too long.
Austin struggling a little bit tonight in this set. 2 errors so far.
They set her up. Blocked. They'll go backside for Charlie Smith, and dunking it on her is Kylie Kleckner. Tough play here coming out of system. Smith able to get a good swing on it. Near side for Lexi Proctor, the silent assassin.
I want to take a moment to kind of highlight Mallory McMahon here because she's doing such a good job of closing the block on defense, and then on offense she's doing such a good job of drawing her middle in and forcing that middle to have to commit to her before breaking to get to either of those pins.
Couple of sloppy turns here from both teams. Now in system, the block.
Out of system here. Libero takes that ball. Here we go. Out of system for Carroll as well.
Austin tooling the block. 6-all. So we've used that term a lot. Explain for the folks that are maybe watching volleyball for the first time ever tonight when we say in system.
In system means that your setter is getting the ball slightly to the right-hand side of the middle of the court, right up against the net. When the ball goes there, it gives every one of your hitters an opportunity to hit the ball.
Like this right here. Kleckner had it blocked. Now Carroll with an opportunity. Austin off the block. Kleckner again, up high off the block. That stays on Nelson's side. They'll set the back row for C, and that is played out of bounds off the hand of Layla Austin. A terrific rally back and forth.
These girls on the net are doing a great job of sealing the block, while the defenders are doing a great job of just covering and making sure that if that ball does not go over, they're right there to give it another shot. That was a great play.
Handled on the backside by AJC. 8-6 Byron Nelson. But I think the play you're talking about was by Layla Austin on the near side, right? To be able to get a good swing on that?
Yes. It was such a funky ball, but for her to put it where she did, very impressive.
Kleckner on serve. They set Audrey Hughes, and she finishes.
And Hughes is typically the opposite, the right side hitter. In that serve-receive kind of formation, she ends up hitting on the outside before making her way over to the right side once that ball goes over the net.
Austin on serve, just off the top of the tape and down. A service error gives a point to Byron Nelson. Approaching 300 of you watching with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Again, please click that like button, click the share button. Send this feed around to your friends in the Byron Nelson and Southlake Carroll communities.
A great swing right there.
Teddy Ray Ewers.
Found a little hole in the block there. Took advantage of it.
Leslie Jackson says Ewers is their steady Eddie. Just great teammate, stable in serve receive. He said a lot of teams seem to try and serve her the ball. She said, I don't know why. I don't think that's a very smart strategy to try and serve her the ball. Big swing on the backside by AJC, who continues a sensational night.
She's just having a phenomenal night. On top of that, her dad is in the back filming all of this. She's a Rice commit.
Brianne Groth told us earlier this week, she says she does a lot of what Kylie does, but they said she's flashier. Peterson and Kinsley Young met each other at the apex. Big swing from Young, dug out nicely. Now they'll set Hughes. She went hunting the back corner and missed long. Beg your pardon, Ewers.
This is the time I'd take a timeout. And there we go.
Byron Nelson starting to build a little bit of momentum here in this fourth set. Leslie Jackson trying to slow that down just a shade.
That three-point range is kind of the sweet spot where if they get on a run and it puts you up by 3, you've got to call that timeout. Slow the momentum. Get your girls to the point where they're able to gather themselves, take a little bit of a breather. I'm surprised they know the words to this song. This came out when I was in high school.
The Byron Nelson JV grooving tonight here inside the Southlake Carroll Senior High School Gymnasium.
The JV volleyball team and choir.
That's right.
The official performers
they sound
tonight.
good.
Yeah, I know they sound great. We didn't get a halftime performance, but this will suffice.
Out of the timeout, 11-8 in favor of Byron Nelson. Off the net, tough. And Carroll able to handle it. Ewers sends it over. C had it blocked. Tries again, tools the block and scores. We have creased the 300 number on the WFAA YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all being here tonight. We've got a good one. Number 1, Byron Nelson, the top team in the country in girls high school volleyball, on the road to face 11th ranked in the state of Texas, Southlake Carroll. 2-1, Byron Nelson with the lead here in this fourth set. Carroll can't handle that one, and AJC scores again. Carroll's going to call another timeout here as Nelson has now built a 13-8 advantage.
You know, on that last play, your pin hitters have to realize that they are a part of the defense. So when the ball is set to the opposite pin, you've got to come off, you've got to be on your toes. And what we're seeing and why Southlake Carroll got beat there is because she was leaned back on her heels, couldn't really move forward to get that ball. And when you have a team like Byron Nelson who can hit that super cut right at that, you have to be able to move.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to play defense and in a position to do it.
Byron Nelson won the first set 25-13, 25-21 Bobcats in the second set, but Southlake Carroll able to take a set off the top team in the country in set number 3, 25-23. It is only the second time in now 74 sets this season that Byron Nelson has lost a set. 72-2. Another serve off the net, handled again well by Carroll. Kinsley Young thought that one was going to score. Nice job to save that ball. Bump set. for Young, and she finds the back corner.
And that shows you how skilled Kinsley is. I don't know why I keep wanting to call her Kylie.
They're best friends.
They're besties. But that ball is a hard ball to hit.
Yeah.
She found it, got her feet there, but also was able to look across the net and find that open hole.
Setting the slide, and Chinnis finishes. AJC having just a fantastic night. On serve here, Mrs. Long.
He might have jinxed her.
Yeah, maybe.
Carroll really has to take advantage of this error here. 4-point game, not terrible. One of the things with volleyball is no lead is too big. It's one of those interesting sports. You can come back from anything.
Nice find in the back corner by Layla Austin.
Good court awareness there.
It is akin to baseball in that way, a clockless game where as long as you're still alive, you're still alive. And you can go on any type of run, hypothetically. Point to Carroll.
We're slowly climbing back into this 2-point game at this point.
The 4-point advantage cut in half in a blink. Peterson setting up the slate again, and she's roofed. Young and Austin side by side.
Kinsley Young was fun to watch on that play. If you saw her, she just kind of put her hand on her mouth like, oh my God. Looks over at Layla like, yeah.
You and I saw the same thing there, because it was almost as if the facial expression of Kinsley Young as you see the celebration from the Southlake Carroll bench. That is fantastic. It was almost as if Kinsley Young said, man, we're right back in this. Like, how are we doing this?
Yes.
It's a bit unbelievable even to the young women on that Southlake Carroll bench, because that's how good Brianne Groff's program is. This is not normal for anybody to be in a set with them, let alone in two.
But again, going into this, we said these are two great programs, and this is proof. Eager to see what Southlake Carroll is able to do this match, whether or not they're able to pull it off, force a fifth, because if this goes to game 5, it's going to be a wild night.
This place will be bouncing if that ever happened. When they met back on August the 26th, Byron won the first 2 sets 25-14, 25-16. It was only that third set, 25-23, that was close. AJC with another big swing and a 2-point advantage for the Bobcats.
And AJC is hitting from right back, from middle back, from left front, from right front, from middle front. She's hitting from everywhere, and she is dominating. She's having such a great night.
We're used to hearing about 6 rotation players. I don't know how often you hear about a 6 rotation hitter. Kinsley Young again.
And watching that playback, Kinsley was really able to find that hole in that block and just penetrate it.
Young again on serve, a chance to pull level at 15 all. C from the back row, had it roofed. Kleckner, dump try, and it works.
She had a lot of court awareness on that play. Remember, Kleckner is the reigning Texas Player of the Year. She's averaging nearly 5 kills per set.
Yeah.
Wild.
Austin blocked. Mallory McMahon and Lexi Proctor sending it back in her face. 17-14, Byron Nelson. Yeah, that to me, the most unbelievable thing about this Byron Nelson team is line one is Sophie Peterson, the young woman on your screen right now, #1 player in the junior class. Their second best player is the reigning Texas Player of the Year, the ace from Peterson. And just like that, Byron spreads it back out to a 4-point advantage.
Now this is where the Southlake Carroll team has to get creative if they need a breather or anything, because they're out of timeouts at this point. Great pass.
Austin punishes that one. But yes, to your point, they've used both of their timeouts in this fourth set. So there's nothing else Leslie Jackson can do to stem the tide. It will have to be, as you alluded to earlier, a creative tie of the shoe or whatever the case may be, to, if they need it, although they'd love to build on the momentum they just seized there with that last point.
The other creative move is if you dive, you tell them that you got sweat on the floor and you need a towel.
High off the block and just too tall for Lauren St. Charles to get a hand on. Byron Nelson 6 points away from ending this one. Kleckner on serve.
A good in-system pass.
Austin back down to a 3-point set. Coming up on Friday Night Football, #1 Aledo at #4 Denton Ryan. That's our next Friday Night Football offering here on WFAA Plus, and a week after that, Duncanville DeSoto. A couple of really good ones coming here on WFAA Plus. In-system ball, dug out
Great
nicely.
dig.
Collins Alonso underneath that one. See again, another great dig. Dump try, no. Peterson sets Kleckner for the tip. Looking for that back corner, and she finds it. Abby Huddleston.
Really good court awareness there. One thing I can say that I love about Layla Austin is that she doesn't let errors get in her head. She's one of those players where if she makes a mistake, she's forgotten it, and she's telling her setter, give me the ball back. She's getting another dig once the ball comes back to her. She's really
goodness, AJC.
Good at leaving plays in the pass, realizing that, okay, I've got to focus on this next point.
Byron Nelson first to the red zone. 20-17. Vogel on serve and missed long.
And again, this is one of those errors that Southlake Carroll is going to have to capitalize on if they want a shot at taking this set.
That's really been the bugaboo tonight for Byron Nelson. It's what has allowed Carroll to stay in the match. They've made multiple service errors tonight. Bump set from Peterson for AJC. Missed. Oh! Leslie Jackson cannot believe the call.
That was a rough call. That was rough.
Retha Anthony, the line judge on the back line, called that in for Byron Nelson, and it's 21-18.
Oh, and you can see it there. It appeared to be out.
Bump set. Audrey Hughes with a big swing. Over ball. Chance here from the back row for Austin. Dug out nicely by Savannah Sterna. C off the block and down.
And the thing is, when there are these calls that you don't think are correct, you still have to be able to bounce right back.
Yeah.
You can't let them get in your head. Great pass by Layla Austin there.
Right down the chute. Teddy Ray Ewer scores. 22-19. Yeah, there's no review like there is in collegiate volleyball. You don't have the apparatus for that here.
Which makes it tough.
Another dump try from Sophie Peterson. 23-19 Byron.
This is where they've got to bring their A game. Nice pass by Layla.
And miscommunication there. Kinsley Young didn't realize that ball was for her. And it's set point for Byron Nelson. AJC has had a terrific night. She's on serve and has a chance to end it. And it's in for the ace. And it's over. Byron Nelson, 25-19 in the final set. And they win it 3-1, staying perfect on the year. They are now 30-0.
Still some of the best competition Byron Nelson has seen
Yes.
since Sierra Canyon.
No, this was a great night for both programs, because this was a really good night for Leslie Jackson's program, competing the way that they did, being able to take a set off the top team in the country. And this was a great night for Brianne Groth's team, because they got challenged, and that doesn't happen often for this program, as you see Sophie Peterson and Ellery Brooks, a junior, for Byron Nelson celebrating, and then realizing they were on camera for that celebration and quickly getting quite shy. They're not used to being challenged like this. They got challenged tonight in a very, very big way, and that's going to help Brianne Groth's program grow and be ready for the challenges that are coming for them. They're likely to go 6A D1. They're going to face some really high-quality programs, Allen, Plano West. There's some really good programs out there waiting for them come postseason time. This was a great night for them to be ready for those kinds of moments.
Yep, exactly. On the back half of that district play, looking ahead, this is going to be great film for them to watch.
Yeah.
And look at where they need to improve, where they're being taken advantage of, where other teams see those seams.
Yeah.
And the other big thing is, I'm looking around this gym, and there are scouts for other schools in this district, other schools in the area that are here watching this match.
Yes.
And trying to figure out, okay, when we see Byron Nelson, because we likely will in the postseason,
Yep.
how are we going to take what Southlake Carroll did well and use that to our advantage?
Yes.
And on the flip side, too, they're looking at Southlake Carroll because although they lost this set, they still are a very talented program and will likely go very far in the offseason, well, in the postseason.
Yeah, no, Brianne Groth said it to us tonight before the game. Because of the fact that Byron is very likely to go 6A D1, that opens up the very realistic possibility that both of these teams win state. Byron Nelson in 6A D1, Southlake Carroll in 6A D2. And Brianne said before the game, if the playoff structure had worked out differently last year and it worked out the way that it is likely to this year, she said if we went 6A D1, she feels Carroll would have won the state championship in 6A D2 last year. They just ran into her team in the regional final. So both of these programs expected to make deep runs. Keller certainly also in their district expected to make deep runs. Both these coaches knew there's going to be a lot of scouts in the building tonight to see what their programs can do so that they can be prepared, because they're going to face multiple teams in the playoffs, and the likelihood is they're going to beat multiple teams come playoff time. And several of those coaches in the building tonight hoping that they don't suffer that fate come the postseason. Ultimately, though, it is a 3-1 win for Byron Nelson. Southlake Carroll winning the third set, 25-23, to force the Bobcats to a fourth set for the first time this season. But Brianne Groth's team stays perfect on the year, 30-0 overall, 10-0 now in District 4 6A. Southlake Carroll falls to 21-5 on the year, 6-3 within the district. And Yeah, I think both these teams have to walk away feeling really, really good about the way that the night went and the things they can take from this evening.
Yeah, a lot of big moments. A lot of big moments. And a lot of things to be proud of on both sides.
AJC, to me, is the story of the night. As much as we talked about Sophie Peterson, and oh my goodness, is Sophie Peterson fantastic. And Kylie Kleckner was terrific as well. Kinsley Young and Layla Austin, terrific for Southlake Carroll. But AJC, I think, was the star of the night. She showed just how deep this Byron Nelson program is with all that she can do.
Just unstoppable. I mentioned this during the game. You could put a ball up anywhere she is on the court, and she was putting it down. At a very high level. Again, we don't have the stats here, but I would love to see her hitting percentage on the night, because I already know she's a beast. That's the way I would describe her. And you know, it wasn't just her offense, it was her defense as well. She was good at the net. She was good in defense, digging.
Yeah.
She was good serving. She had a couple of errors, but still was doing a really good job of getting them out of system. Just all around. 6 rotation player, 6 rotation dominant player, wherever you put her. Wherever you put her.
No doubt. Janelle Fort, your final thought on the evening. This was a pleasure. I appreciate you being here tonight. I appreciate your expertise in the sport of volleyball and everything that you brought to this broadcast tonight. What was this like for you?
Listen, no one I would have rather done this with than you. So I appreciate you for having me. But no, this was great. And I knew it was going to be good volleyball. I didn't know it was going to be this good.
Yeah.
And I really am just very happy that we're highlighting volleyball here in North Texas, because we have dominated this sport for a very long time. And I think now, it's getting the recognition that it deserves.
Amen. Amen. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We peaked over 300 concurrent viewers tonight. I'll be curious to see the numbers tonight. Really a lot of volleyball fans tuning in to see this both on WFAA Plus and on the WFAA YouTube channel. Thank you all so very, very much for tuning in for our very first volleyball broadcast here on WFAA Plus. For our entire high school game night crew, our director, Clay Marshall, our photographers, Graham Rayner and Cody Pryor, Janelle Fort alongside. I'm Mike Leslie. Thanks so much for watching the inaugural high school game night volleyball. Byron Nelson stays perfect on the year and moves to 30-0 with a 3-1 win over Southlake Carroll. We will see you on Friday night in Denton as #1 Aledo goes on the road to face 4th-ranked Denton Ryan on Friday Night Football. Good night, everybody.